Smoke like a chimney. Adrenaline is the best drug for creating a rush of pleasure and comfort, until the buzz quickly fades. Then you may feel tired or a little down, and you may want that buzz again. Your body is able to build up a high tolerance to nicotine, so you'll need to smoke more cigarettes to get that same buzz. It's a well-known fact that smoking is bad for your health. It can cause cancer, heart disease, and other health problems. Smoking can also lead to mental and behavioral health issues, such as addiction. Despite the health risks, though, many people choose to smoke. And tobacco ads often portray smokers as the sexiest people on earth. So, why do people smoke if they know it's bad for them? And does smoking really make you sexy? Smoking in movies. The cigar industry started developing connections with the entertainment industry beginning in the 1980s, and paid product placements were made in both movies and on television. The tobacco industry recruits new smokers by associating its products with fun, excitement, wealth, and power, and as a means of expressing rebellion and independence. And of course, cigarettes were used as a representation of sex. A couple could not be shown in the same bed at the same time, so cigarettes were put in films to sexualize the scene. Filmmakers made smoking look cool, and you know what? It worked. The results of a study showed that women are more likely to view men who smoke and drink alcohol as more sexually open than men who don't. From Sean Connery's James Bond to half the cast of Pulp Fiction, cool characters smoked cigarettes. Even female smokers were often sexy and sophisticated. Movie stars made smoking look cool. It was a reinforcement of the edgy, rebellious persona of the character. One comment said, "I like to watch my wife smoke, not during sex, just once in a while. She's not a regular smoker, but it really does something for me." Another said, "I think smoking is wrong, but watching women smoke turns me on." Research shows smoking imagery on screens, and that high exposure to some of this imagery makes youth and young adults twice as likely to start smoking. Streaming services such as Netflix have more sex, violence, and as it turns out, smoking. From social taboo to torch of freedom, the marketing of cigarettes to women. Over 100 years ago, a woman was detained by a police officer for smoking a cigarette. After being stopped by an officer on a bicycle on Fifth Avenue in New York City, Mrs. William P. Orr blew smoke in his face and flicked cigarette ash toward him. This incident marked the start of a century-long battle over women's health, identity, and behavior by raising the questions of who could and should smoke. Over time, attitudes about women smoking began to shift. Jump-started by World War I as women moved into traditionally male jobs while men were away at war. Tobacco companies also sensed a new wind blowing, quickly opted the ideas of independence that women began to assert at the polls and in the workplace. They targeted women, conveying the notions that women who smoked were independent, attractive, and even athletic. Lucky Strike's 1925 marketing pitch to women told them to reach for a Lucky instead of a Sweet. The message, smoke and you'll be thin. Once again co-opting the idea of liberation, Virginia Slim cigarettes targeted women. "You've come a long way, baby." Communicating the idea that housewives and working women alike deserve some time to themselves to indulge in the pleasure of smoking. Does smoking make you sexy? It only looks sexy in the movies. In person, when you smell it on someone's hair and clothes, when they give you a big smile with tobacco-stained teeth, when you discover the taste of their kiss is like an ashtray, and when you hear them gurgling up a big hackling smoker's cough and spitball. It's not sexy at all. In fact, it's as disgusting as can be. Does this look sexy to you? We know it can kill us. Why do people still smoke? In 1602, an anonymous English author published an essay titled "Work of Chimney Sweepers," which stated that illnesses often seen in chimney sweepers were caused by soot, and that tobacco may have similar effects. This is one of the earliest known instances of smoking being linked to ill health. CNN, smoking can kill you. We've known that for at least 50 years, and yet millions still smoke, and thousands more pick up the habit every year. Why? Their stories involve strong addictions, passionate defiance, and billions spent to make people act against their own best interest. Tobacco industry profits $9K USD from every smoker's death. The world's biggest tobacco companies make a profit equivalent to $9,730 USD for the death of each smoker. Claims a report which found that the industry deliberately targets countries that lack tobacco control laws and exploits government, farmers, and vulnerable populations of countries in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. Why do some people who smoke live longer than others? Jeanne Calment, the French Diane believed to be the oldest person in the world when she died at the extreme age of 122, was known for three things. She would frequently consume 2 pounds of chocolate a week, drank generous amounts of port wine, and became a smoker at age 21. The long-lived smokers like Calment are the exception, and the researchers said that their findings suggest that they may be a biologically distinct group that is endowed with genetic variants that allow them to respond differently to exposure. Eileen Crimmins, a gerontology professor at the University of Southern California, said that there is evidence that these genes may facilitate lifespan extension by increasing cellular maintenance and repair. Levine emphasized, however, that the proportion of people who have a genetic signature that would help them cope with the biological stresses of smoking is extremely small, and therefore, nobody should use this paper as an excuse to continue smoking. Advantages of smoking. As smoking is one of the most common causes of health problems and death, the positive health effects are hardly ever pointed out, but there are nonetheless. One of the main reasons why people would not quit smoking, smoking acts as an antidepressant. Smoking helps people relax, reduce stress, concentrate, and boost mental strength. Smoking is a good way to control hypertension. Smoking cigarettes can lower your chances of developing chronic high blood pressure by about 30%. Diseases like Parkinson's are significantly reduced or managed when smoking. According to studies, there is a very low rate of Parkinson's disease in smokers compared to non-smokers. This effect is due to the nicotine present in cigarettes. Smoking reduces the risk of Parkinson's disease in smokers by 41%. Smoking is an icebreaker. Some people rely on smoking to socialize with friends. Smoking can be seen as a condition to be accepted in a friend's group. So, it's easier for some people who smoke to feel like they belong to a group. They need cigarettes to fit in. Nicotine is said to help control weight by reducing an individual's appetite and hunger. In the 1920s, cigarette companies sold their product to women by advertising cigarettes as a great way to lose weight. But that doesn't mean that one should smoke only to lose weight. Vaping among teens, a growing trend. Electronic cigarettes allow the user to inhale nicotine in a vapor rather than a smoke. E-cigarettes work by heating a liquid that typically contains nicotine and flavorings among other chemicals. They do not burn tobacco and do not produce tar or carbon monoxide, two of the most damaging elements to health in tobacco smoke. There is concern that e-cigarette marketing is being targeted at teenagers who do not smoke, rather than smokers trying to quit. Research has suggested that e-cigarette use by young people is increasing. A recent study by University College London found that in January 2022, 15% of 18-year-old survey respondents in Great Britain used e-cigarettes, up from 11% in January 2021. This compared to 8% among all adults. The role of flavors in vaping. Most experts agree that sweet flavors like cotton candy and mango help entice teens to try their first ever puff on an electric cigarette. But what keeps them coming back? It's that simple. Once they've started, if they use a sweetly flavored product, they're more likely to stick with it. said study leader Adam Leventhal, director at the USC Health, Emotion, and Addiction Laboratory. The little big lie. Filters are the deadliest fraud in the history of human civilization. They are put on cigarettes to save the cost of tobacco and to fool people. They don't filter at all. In the US, 400,000 people a year die from cigarettes. And those cigarettes almost all have filters. But who created microplastic filters? Big Tobacco did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep up to date with all the latest videos. Thanks for watching.